very soon on the 25th of this month, the finance minister will be in the floor of parliament to give updates in regards to the next half of the year budget. And mostly if the conversation have gone on behind the scenes with stakeholders, but this time around I want to hear from the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Joseph Paddy, who has joined us on Zoom with regards to what they expect in the media budget. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Metro Business.
Good afternoon. Let me say good afternoon to your viewers and your listeners.
Great. In the beginning of the year, there was a lot of demands from the benchmark conversation to introduction of new taxes to all the issues that directly or indirectly affect your operations. Now, on the 25th, the finance minister is expected to make similar announcements, and let's hope. What do you expect from this time round? His presentation.
Yes. Thank you once again. Like you rightly said, beginning of the year there has been some challenges in terms of businesses because we complain of cost of doing business in the country extremely high. We've lost businesses to our neighboring countries in terms of importation because when you go to our seaports, the taxes, our tax rate in this country is extremely high. We are not competitive. So we've lost business to Togo, Benin, Nigeria, most of our seaports. Because now you go to the port is virtually empty. People are not importing. Not that they don't need the goods, but it's because cost of doing business in the country is extremely high. And coupled with that, recently, government also introduced some trade taxes, which we thought is not helping business. The excise tax that introduces sustainability and then the income tax. So at that point in time, when we're talking about cost of doing business in the country extremely high, government is reintroducing new taxes, which we think is not a healthy practice for businesses. Whilst government is saying we should move from importation to production, and you are bringing these taxes, cumulatively, our tax rate in this country is almost about 50 to 51%. And which business can survive under that dispensation? You know, recently when there was a challenge called COVID, government introduced this 1% COVID, and then it's on the sunset. Now we've done with COVID, that still 1% remains. And we're thinking that in this media review, we expect government to review some of these taxes that they brought on board, especially those trade taxes. The government should review it and make sure cost of doing business in the country is favorable, and then Ghanaians can go into manufacturing and production because no businessman can survive under this where the interest rate is almost about 35 to 40%. The policy rate of Bank of Ghana is about 29.5%. Who will go to the bank and go and borrow, commercial bank to go and borrow at the rate of 35% and go into business? You cannot survive, which means you are telling me my production line, then I should make profit margin of almost about 60 to 70% after my overhead costs. So these are the challenge that the business community is facing. So if government wants us to move from importation to production, then these are the areas we should be looking at. That cost of doing business in this country is high. Utilities are high. We're talking about ECG, extremely high. The manufacturers are complaining. We distributors also complain because if they manufacture at a higher rate, they are not competitive. That is why you see us going into other neighboring countries to look to support our manufacturers. And at the end of doing that, we found out that even after paying your duty, your goods is still even cheaper than that which is produced here. So manufacturing in this country is not attractive. That is why you see manufacturers.
Joseph, you raised a very important topic. You said if the local demand cannot meet the expected, you are likely to go outside. And when you import, the duty looks quite outrageous. I have seen some of the taxes at our port. There are over 29 taxes on most products imported. How do you survive and how have you been able to sustain your operations? And I'm sure you've gotten some sentiment from your associated members as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I am even a victim of that personally, because just imagine I imported a vehicle into this country, a vehicle that was paying duty about 18,000 Ghana cedis. This same time, I'm paying about 41,000 Ghana cedis for that same vehicle. And just imagine the cost of the cost of duty is even more than the cost of the vehicle itself. So businessmen are really bleeding, and I have to sell at a loss because I own the bank. I have to pay my bankers. If I don't pay my bankers, I'm in trouble. So I have to sell at a loss. So Ghanaian business are really doing business at a loss. That is why Ghanaian businesses are not growing. And then our manufacturers are also complaining. So we are saying, government, this is not a time for you to reduce the tax rate. When you reduce the tax rate, a lot of people will come into the tax net and you get the needed revenue. But if the tax rate is that high, that even as I'm speaking to you, Gapoa is bleeding. Gapoa is complaining seriously that there's no business at the port because they've lost business to the neighboring country. Coupled with that, look at our interest rate that I said earlier on. And then look at now our inflation rate that is gone up so high, almost about 42 to 43%, compared to our neighbors that are experiencing about between 5 to 10%, 15% inflation rate. You bring it because you say you want to you bring that inflation rate higher so that you mop up liquidity in the system. But my brother, I can assure you there's no liquidity. The businessman, yes.
I want to also get from you as GUTA, Ghana Union of Traders Association, what is the contribution of the association to the nation's economy, specifically mentioning or let us know identifiable areas?
Yes, we're looking at areas where we have upper hands, those areas that we can hold on to, because seriously, as it stands now, we've lost the telcos are in the hands of foreigners. When you go to the extractive industry, they are in the hands of foreigners. When you go to the manufacturing industry, they are in the hands of foreigners. The only business that is left for the Ghanaian is even the business industry, the buying and selling are also being shifted. Just imagine how many, how do you call it, these people, China malls that can you find in this country? Look at all the malls around us now that are also going to retailing. Most of them are hands of foreigners. So now, if your economy is in the hands of foreigners, you know what happened. That also happened to us recently, where there's pressure on our foreign exchange because as soon as they sell their goods, they want to change the money and send it to their country. So we are saying that government should be able to come up with a deliberate policy. What we can do to grow the Ghanaian indigene. So the economic power will be in the hands of Ghanaians. Because as it stands, no Ghanaian can go in. Because if we are not competitive, you can't go to the Bank of Ghana or commercial banks to go and borrow at the rate of 35%. Meanwhile, your competitor who is coming from China or somewhere else is going to borrow from his bank at a rate of 3%. So if you are all coming to manufacturing, on the day one, you are at disadvantage. If you are all manufacturing the same product, let's say a cocoa product, that the raw material is here, but you needed money to go and bring it to a finished product, you have to go to the commercial bank to go and borrow at the rate of 35. And a foreigner will come and borrow from his country and bring the rate at a rate of 3%. So as we are all going to manufacturing, he has a competitive advantage over you. So we are saying, government, when it comes in terms of trading and businesses, for the Ghanaian businessman, why can't you come out with a product that the Ghanaian businessman can go and borrow at the commercial bank at a cheaper rate so that we can be competitive? The reason why goods and services of Ghana is expensive is that our manufacturers are not competitive. They are borrowing at a higher rate. And as such, they cannot compete with this foreign country. If even a product is being produced here in the country and the price differential is about 2 cities to 3 cities, nobody will bother him or herself to even travel outside the country to go and import. You want to buy it here and then distribute it here. But this is a point, somebody manufacture a product and it's maybe 4 cities here, and you get it outside there for about 50 cents. After paying the duty, you get about maybe 1 CD, 50 cents. So it's a challenge that we are facing as a country, yes.
Indeed, it's a challenge. I want to get from your end whether there's been engagement or stakeholder engagement with regards to the nation's industrialization agenda, or let's say business development plan that encapsulates all the challenges that businesses are facing currently, projection-wise, and bringing into agreement with government in regards to the path you intend to take, because you will say this, other associations will say that, and there is so much demand, which there is no cohesion in terms of what government must do.
Yeah, we always come up with proposals to government. We don't always only complain. We come with proposals. That one of the proposals we said that interest rate must come down for the Ghanaian businessman. We made that proposal long ago. We're saying that even raw material, import raw material, we pay duty on our raw materials. We will go to the port, it's expensive there. So we are saying cumulatively, the tax rate in the country is also extremely high. So these are the areas proposal we made to government. If you want to grow the Ghanaian businessman, we also come up with a proposal, these 3 new taxes that was introduced, that it must be reviewed, because excise duty, if you are asking us to go into manufacturing, and you are going to introduce new excise duty that is going to make cost of production extremely high, who might want to go into this? So we said all those three policies that the government introduced recently must be reviewed. We spoke about the COVID-19, that we said when the sun sets, you will take it out. That must go. There was a special levy of 2% on importation, and government said we needed money to do something. But when the sun set, since 2013 till now, those 2% are still there, and it's added to the cost of doing business. And at the end of it all, is the consumer that suffers, because whatever happens, we'll pass it on to the final consumer.
Mr. Paddy, we're grateful for your time. Surely, before the budget, we'll also break down, come back to you to get more details, especially what the finance minister may put up and how it will directly affect your operations. We are grateful for your time, Mr. Paddy.
Yeah, there are a lot of proposals on our sleeves when government engages us, because we are partners in national development. So when government engages us, we are ready to come on board. Yes,
Great.
Very much.